Yes, welcome back to the Sports Show. Time to turn our attention to the Southern Footy League, and as always, the Prez joins us, Craig Warman. Craig, how are you, mate?
Yeah, very well, thanks, Phil.
Hey, mate, let's get on. It was a ripping weekend of footy, and there was a lot happening, of course, being Anzac Day. The Diggers' Day game, mate. Let's not talk so much about the game because we know it didn't quite go the way Flaggy's got up with a big win over Noarlunga, but the day itself?
The day itself was fantastic. Sponsored by SASS helicopters, of course.
Helicopter couldn't come in.
Well, yeah, well, true. Poor old blokes, they...
COVID.
Well, COVID got us again. What happened was the scenario being they had to pick up the helicopter at Nowra, fly it over here to Adelaide. No one here in Adelaide with a licence to fly that particular machine. They had to fly them out from Perth.
Give me a ring.
So, of course. But they have promised they are going to continue the sponsorship and year on, year out. So fantastic for us to have them on board.
Hey, mate, you have the uniforms after, of course. You know, they're made especially for the day, and then they auction them off after. How'd it go?
Oh, absolutely fantastic. A substantial amount of money was raised, and that's going to go to the
Pay for a pilot?
No, veteran welfare.
Oh, okay. Oh.
So really
I understand it was over 10 grand, mate. That was raised.
Yeah,
which is unbelievably impressive if you're over that figure.
Yeah, no,
so well
very,
done.
very pleased.
No, well done. Hey, mate, let's talk about the games. We've covered off on Flagstaff. They were a bit too good for Noarlunga, but the one we want to talk about, because there was a little wager last week, of course, my boys, the Ranella boys, up against Baz's team, Cove. There was a car washing, 2 coats on the car, clean inside, clean side out.
Has it been done yet?
No. But
that's because there's a flag up.
There's a flag
up. There's a flag up.
Under protest.
Well, I want to know why Bill Threadgold,
Billy,
ADA man.
Yes.
Why? And
he's very happy.
Big Ranella man.
Yep.
What is he doing as a central umpire in that game? Why did he umpire that game?
What are you talking about?
I think it's a disgrace.
Don't know where you're getting your information from, mate.
Well, I just heard that Billy umpired the game and we got beaten by 20 goals.
You're assuming that's why it wasn't the better team won on the day?
Well, no, I think Cove's bad kicking really cost them dearly in that game.
Yeah, all of 6 points?
Well, they kicked 6 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, but without a miss.
Okay, we'll move on. We'll just say that Ranella dominated Cove. We'll just leave it at that, but sometime later in the week, I'll bring the car around for you, mate. Happy Valley, mate, too good for Port Noarlunga?
Yeah, they were. That was a night game as well under lights there at Happy Valley. And, of course, the other one that was played actually on the Anzac Day itself was Morphettvale and Christie's.
Were you surprised? I know Christie's got some injuries early in the first quarter, but the margin surprised you?
Yeah, well, when you lose 3 players in the first quarter,
3 good ones too,
and one being your main goal kicker in Blake Carter, did a hammy unfortunately, so they were always under the pump after that.
Yeah. Happy Valley, was that a surprise, that margin? Because when we spoke about this last week, that was going to be a rule. We thought it'd be a cracker. It'd be really close. Because there's some big margins here, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
But that one there was obviously in Cove, but the Happy Valley one stood out to me. I said, "Oh, hang on, that's a pretty good. That's a bombing. That's a very good win."
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but can they do that? They got beaten by Cove the week before. That's
the consistent part that you'd be looking for, I think, on all stages there.
Mate, before we get to this weekend's games coming up, I want to ask you about the ladder at the moment, mainly because Ranella sit on top, but Flaggy sit second.
Yes.
But then 3 to 8, Morphy, Happy Valley, Noarlunga, Aldinga, Christie's Beach and Cove all sit on the same number. So a win on this weekend can catapult you into the 3rd or 4th spot. A loss can start to... You wouldn't think just this many games in that it could be that tight. And, you know, they normally start to separate, but it's pretty impressive start of the season.
Well, it is, and again, you look at some of the games coming up this week, there could be some interesting results in those particular games as well. Our tribe match of the day is, of course, Port Noarlunga and Morphettvale. You tip Morphettvale on current form to beat them. Noarlunga and Happy Valley will be a beauty down at the Horseshoe.
Do you reckon Noarlunga will bounce back?
I think they will.
Yeah.
They'll get a few players back from injury, and they're always hard to beat at home. Cove take on Christie's at home. And Christie's don't have a very good record up at Cove, so I'm expecting a big return from Cove.
They want to improve.
But Christie's have got a lot of injuries now, and injuries to key forwards, etc. So it's going to be interesting to see how they cover off on there.
How does the coach get them up? How does the coach get up from what was the 100?
Well, don't point asking me, mate. You better ask him.
But how does a coach get them up, Phil? I mean, they kick 6 points.
Well, look,
there's nothing there, is there?
I reckon you've got to look at this. There's always a history, isn't there? So we know the coach came in late. He didn't get appointed until late, so his system's going to take a while to get in place. They had a big win the week before. So we're talking about a club that hasn't had a lot of success over the journey. Suddenly they have a big win and it's on the siren, so we know it's emotive. So then there's that emotional drain to go, well, we've got to try and bring them up again next week. And that's enough to flatten them out for one game. And I reckon if you look at the score, you go, gee whiz, they're pretty flat. Yeah. So I reckon they'll bounce back a bit, and he'll have that. He'll bring some people in over the course of this week, I'd imagine, to talk to the group and try and get them back up. And again, you don't want to talk necessarily about wins and losses right now with the group that he's got. He's just talking about being better than they were the previous week. So I think his focus will be more about are we improving it as opposed to let's talk about wins and losses.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Good point.
But look, the other one that interests me, though, is Ordinga and Ranella, who are currently top of the ladder. That should be sorry, guys, Ranella top, mate. Yes. Against Ordinga. Yep.
How much money they get?
Again, Ordinga had the bye last week, so it'll be interesting to see how they go. You tip Ranella in that one. But what I do want to talk about, just before we finish up, is the Mighty Panthers, the South Adelaide under-16s.
Yes.
Played in the grand final against Glenelg, who've been predominant winners of that particular competition. But a real good thing for the Southern Footy League that 11 of the 22 came from Southern Football League clubs.
Is this the girls?
No,
the boys. Under-16 boys.
Under-16 boys.
Okay. Oh, well done, boys.
They a goal down at half-time, came out and after half-time, kicked 12 goals to 2.
We've always said that, haven't we?
And won pretty convincingly by 53 points.
That area, mate, that area, it's always had it.
Yeah, it has.
It's always had it. I'm surprised they haven't done this before.
Now they're starting to use it, but
exactly
the black and whites are rolling. They are, because the best on ground in that particular game was a young lad by the name of Tommy Shermer.
Yeah.
Ranella boy.
Ranella boy. It's important. 6'5".
How much are Ranella paying for this?
Well, no, not at all.
Mate,
but the lead, just on a final note, the leading goal kicker for the whole competition was Jack Deline.
Another one?
From Ranella.
Yeah.
You might want to think, mate.
Last year, mate, you might want to swap sides.
Mate, it was all over me last year when Ranella was struggling, and I said, stick with the young fellas, mate, we'll be all right.
Mate, I'm a Flagstaff Hill boy, you know that.
Flaggies. You were with your coach Cove.
Yes, but I live at Flagstaff Hill. I lived at Flagstaff. It's my area.
Yeah, but that's just around the corner from Happy Valley.
It is too. It depends who wins.
No, there's a name for blokes like you, dead set there is. We won't say it while we're on air. Hey, we need to get to a break. Stay with us. Still plenty to come on the show.